Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Warships with Rear Admiral Jingles, and today we've got, well, no spoilers, just watch and see. This is Shadow Realm, by the way, in the USS Wicks, American Tier 3 destroyer, and he must have been playing this game very, very late at night or very, very early in the morning, because the best the server could manage to cobble together was a 7 versus 7. The good news is that since he's in the USS Wicks, he's one of only 3 Tier 3 ships on his team, so he should be able to do well out of this match. And he is going to do well out of this match, but, well, you don't know the half of it. It's, if you're easily upset, you probably don't want to watch this video. Right, anyway, that's enough spoilers. So, USS Wicks, American Tier 3 destroyer. Guns are not bad. Doesn't have many of them, only 4, but rapid reload, reasonably quick turning turrets. Can't fire from stealth, however. This isn't a gearing. Pretty much, as soon as you fire the guns in this thing, unless you're hiding in a smoke screen, they're going to see you. Torpedoes, your standard low-tier American destroyer torpedoes. Absolute garbage. You have to close to suicide range in order to be able to get the torpedoes away and stand a chance of hitting anything in the Wicks. But that trains you to play American destroyers well. You have to use the cover of islands in order to get close to an unsuspecting target and fire those torpedoes off at a range where they have no chance whatsoever of avoiding them. And that's really always been the trick with the American destroyers, and the sooner you learn it down here at Tier 3 on the Wicks, the better you'll do on the Clemson, the Nicholas, the Farragut and the Mahan as you work your way up the tiers, and you can see he's doing it here. Spotted the enemy Nassau over there, the Tier 3 German battleship, which is a great little ship, but, well, it'll be spotted from further away than it can fire its guns. Now he's in shooting range of the Nassau, but he doesn't want to give his position away just yet. So instead he's going to use this island to get a little bit closer to the enemy fleet. Kolberg-class cruiser just popped up over there as well. What else? 2 destroyers on the enemy team, one of them's a Wicks. Nassau's in range, locked on. Still just the Nassau and the Kolberg so far, but there's some return fire coming in. There's the enemy Wicks. Now he's too far away. And that's when he gets spotted. The Chickamauer. Now, he's only spotted fractionally as the Chickamauer loses line of sight by going around the side of the island. But if anybody's paying attention, they're going to know there's a destroyer sneaking up on the flank. So Shadow Realm really needs that Chickamauer dead, otherwise he's not going to be able to get any closer to those other enemy ships. But, well, the Chickamauer looks like he's committing suicide here. He's just sailing straight into the massive friendlies. But it only looks like the Chickamauer's committing suicide because every single one of those ships is ignoring this guy who's just sailing right behind them. Luckily for them, he's only the Tier 2 cruiser, and so he doesn't have torpedoes. Otherwise, these guys would be in a lot of trouble. Not as much trouble as this Chickamauer just found himself in, as a surprise Wicks pops up out of nowhere and nails him with torpedoes for Shadow Realm's first kill. Got his engine knocked out, however, so he's going to repair that. And I say a surprise Wicks popped out of nowhere, and yet the Chickamauer should have been fully aware that he was there, because the Chickamauer's the one who spotted him. But, well, paying attention to what's going on the map is clearly too much to ask from somebody who just sailed right into the middle of the enemy fleet like that, and yet would have gotten away with it if Shadow Realm hadn't been here, because nobody else was shooting at him. Anyway, 1 kill down, 6 to go. They've lost a cruiser of their own. There's a cruiser up ahead who's on about half health and not looking too happy about it. And he is coming under sustained fire, and we're probably going to lose him very quickly as well. Shadow Realm pulls the speed on to get back into the fight, and that Chester up ahead is almost certainly going to die very, very soon. But pay attention to the Samson, Tier 2 destroyer up there. He's closed in at point-blank range to do a torpedo attack against that Nassau, and I think he might have hit him with 1. And the Samson has also dropped a smoke screen, but he's not in the smoke screen, so predictably enough, he's dead. I'll tell you who is in the smoke screen, however, that the Samson has though thoughtfully provided: the enemy Nassau battleship. Now, Shadow Realm did manage to get some torpedoes away at him when he was momentarily spotted. And there he is. Yes, come on, another one. Bingo. 2nd kill. He's the only person on his team who's managed to sink anything so far, by the way. So the scores are 3 kills to 2 in favour of the enemy. And with the Nassau dead, he's in the smoke screen. Can he relax? No, he can't. He's spotted again. Enemy Dirtsky. Now, He's going for the torpedo kill, and you can see the Dirtsky is also turning for the torpedo kill, but the advantage in this situation lies with the guy furthest ahead. Yeah. Okay, now, with his third kill, still the only person on his team to sink anything, he's not spotted. Now can he relax for a bit? Let's have a look. 3 enemy ships spotted. Closest one, St. Louis. Now, there's no concealment available here for him to use to get close enough to be able to hit that St. Louis without being detected. So he's going to have to take a bit of a chance here. The St. Louis is, however, focusing on the friendly St. Louis. So as long as that guy stays alive, and it does not look like he's going to stay alive much longer with 3 ships shooting at him, we'll see how close he can get. Now, he's inside 6.7 kilometers, so he will have been detected, but the St. Louis is still shooting at the friendly St. Louis, who is going to die any second now. There we go. So there's now only 2 of them left against 4 enemies, and he's still the only one on his team to actually sink anybody. The St. Louis is turning this way. Oh, that ain't good. He pops his smoke screen for the first time in this game, fires his torpedoes. The Kolberg fires and narrowly misses. You can still see the Kolberg. He must be spotted by somebody else. The St. Louis has disappeared. There was another enemy ship out there somewhere who has also disappeared. The good thing here is that the St. Louis doesn't have torpedoes, so he doesn't have to worry about torpedoes popping up, fired into the smoke screen. Let's see if those torpedoes that he's fired are going to hit anything. Oh, they have. Oh well. News just in. Destroyers fire torpedoes. And speaking of destroyers, he's just got spotted momentarily by the enemy wicks, so there is going to be a fresh barrage of fire coming in from the St. Louis and the Kolberg, and potentially there was another ship over there who nobody has eyes on at the moment and is not spotted, but he's activated his engine boost. He's charging out of the smoke screen. Oh, this is a ballsy move. There's the St. Louis. There's the Kolberg. And if they can see him, all of the other enemy ships, which are still unspotted, can see him as well. He gets the torpedoes away. He takes a hit just in time. One of his torpedo launchers has been knocked out, but he managed to get the torpedoes away first. It does not look like that St. Louis has taken any kind of evasive action. He's lost a lot of health here, however, but that's a guaranteed kill on that completely oblivious St. Louis, and now he's in all kinds of trouble. Yeah, forget the torpedoes. You need to use the guns. The enemy wicks is closing in. He's on low health. That was a good shot. Let's get another salvo away. Keep moving. Keep moving. Finish this guy. He's got him. Kraken Unleashed. 5 kills. How many ships has his team sunk again? Oh, that's right. 5. Now, at this point, he turns left, and it looks like he was heading for the safety of the smokescreen, but the smokescreen is dissipating, and he's spotted. And the 2 remaining enemy ships, both cruisers, are giving him hell here. If he turned right, he would have been able to make it around the side of that island, but he thought the smokescreen was going to last a bit longer than it did. His engine boost has faded. He's just going to have to run the gauntlet of enemy cruiser fire here and try to get out of line of sight. His torpedoes are not yet reloaded on the port side. His starboard torpedo tubes are ready to go, but that's no good to him with 2 enemy cruisers on his port side. He did manage to get some torpedoes away against the Kolberg, but the Kolberg's nobody's fool. He's keeping his distance away from the wicks because, well, he doesn't want to get torpedoed, does he? Can't say the same about the Chester. Now, that's great news for the Kolberg because it means he can keep up the long-range artillery fire, nice and safe outside of torpedo range, and let the Chester do all the spotting for him. And Shadow Realm is not firing his guns because he's relying on the torpedoes here. The Chester is inside torpedo range, and he wants to nail that guy and not get spotted by the Kolberg. And it looks like the Chester is only too happy to oblige as he takes absolutely no evasive manoeuvres whatsoever. News just in, apparently, destroyers fire torpedoes. Yeah, I know, the Chester's only tier 2. It's entirely possible that the captain of the Chester has only been playing World of Warships for half an hour, but the sooner he learns the lesson, the better. So, 6 kills under his belt, a potential solo warrior coming up here for wiping out the entire enemy team. Just him and the Kolberg left. Now here's the thing, he does not have a lot of health. And he absolutely definitely does not want to get into a gunnery duel with a cruiser. I mean, the guns on American destroyers are all right, but they're not that good. Here's the problem, however. In order to stand the best possible chance of nailing that Kolberg before the Kolberg can bring his guns to bear, he's going to have to get close enough to be able to fire his torpedoes off undetected. And undetected is the problem, because his torpedoes only have a 4.5 kilometer range, and he's going to get spotted at a range of 6.7 kilometers. So that's a 2.2 kilometer gauntlet he's going to have to run under fire from the Kolberg before he can get close enough to fire his torpedoes. And if the Kolberg just turns away, all of those torpedoes are going to miss. So he's going to have to use the islands to try to get close to the Kolberg to give him less chance to avoid the torpedoes. And that's easier said than done, because he doesn't know where the Kolberg is. Best case scenario, he comes around the side of one of these islands to find a Kolberg 1 kilometer away, torpedoes him. Worst case scenario, he comes around the side of one of these islands to find the Kolberg 6.5 kilometers away from him. Can't torpedo him. Oh, I should point out, by the way, that the Wix does have a torpedo upgrade which extends the range by 500 meters to 5 kilometers, but that's still 1.7 kilometers outside of your detection range. So the Kolberg is still going to see him coming. So Shadow Realm's best chance here is to spot that Kolberg in open water and then look at the map and figure out his best way of using the islands to get close enough for a torpedo shot. The Kolberg's best chance, however, is to stay in open water, away from all of the islands. And it does kind of look like that's what he's doing. It's at this point where the Kolberg does something strange. He starts firing his guns at nothing. Now, what I think the Kolberg is doing here, because don't forget, if you fire your guns, you extend the range at which you'll be spotted on the surface. And I think what the Kolberg was doing there was basically saying, here I am, come and have a go if you think you're hard enough. Now, Shadow Realm strayed within 6.7 kilometers, so he has been detected by the Kolberg. So he pops his smoke, he launches his torpedoes, and he slows down. But the Kolberg saw him, and that first salvo was accurate. The second salvo, not so much. But he's putting as much fire in the direction of where he saw the shell impacts as possible. All we can do now is cross our fingers and wait. Are those torpedoes going to do the job? It doesn't look like they are. You can see the Kolbergs, well, you can't see the muzzle flashes, but you can see where the shots are coming from. And it looks like he's moved ahead of the torpedoes, and the torpedoes have run out of steam and sank to the bottom. So he's going to have to visually acquire that Kolberg again, and he doesn't have any smoke screens left. There he is. He's got his engine boost, however. He's going to charge the Kolberg. Does not have a lot of health remaining, however, and if the Kolberg keeps shooting like that, he's going to have substantially less. He's in the red. Another hit. He's trying to get the torpedoes away from the port side. There they go. Widens the spread there because the Kolberg is in the turn. And while the first spread of torpedoes doesn't look too good, the second one does look very, very good. He's trying to swing it around to get the starboard tubes away, but that second spread does look like it probably would have sank the Kolberg, unfortunately. Yeah. Oh well, never mind. Yeah, Shadow Realm, I think we all know how you feel. That's it for today, folks. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll catch you next time.